When you're trying to lose weight, or more specifically fat, the scale is going to go up, down, or stay the same. And that's totally normal. But even with these ups and downs, there's an overall trend that's happening. So in this video, I want to talk about how you can use that overall trend to keep you on track and to make sure that your weight is moving in the right direction. During the week, my weight can go up or down day to day. On Mondays, I tend to be heavier because I'm coming off of a weekend where I might have gone out and had some additional calories from eating out, and some of that food would have had some additional sodium. So I know that I'm retaining more water. But I also know that as the week progresses, that excess water will drop off. So this is a normal pattern for me. And that's why I don't get concerned that I tend to be heavier on a Monday than I was on a Friday. Think of it like the stock market. Every day there are ups and downs, and when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's really heading in any specific direction. But when you zoom out, then you can see where the overall trend is heading. And I want you to think about weight loss in the same way. It's more important to focus on the overall trend instead of the day-to-day fluctuations. You want to ask yourself, which way is my weight going over time? Start paying attention to the weekly weight loss average instead of the day-to-day changes. Is the overall trend heading in the right direction? Is it going lower, week to week, or even a couple of weeks back, even if it's just a little bit? For example, I'm in the process of still losing some weight, but over the summer, my weight loss slowed. Why? Well, I went on some trips and I had some events where I was eating some additional calories. Now, I still lost weight over the summer, but at a much slower rate. I weighed less at the end of the summer than I did at the beginning, so the overall trend was moving in the right direction. But that doesn't mean that during the summer there weren't periods where there was movement upwards in my weight here and there. It's not a straight line downward. For example, when I went away on vacation, I ate out more and I had some extra calories. So when I came back, I was heavier by a few pounds. Now, this was mostly from water retention and possibly some additional fat gain. But for me, this was a slight temporary bump upwards on my trend. But here's what really matters. It's not the bump itself, it's what you do after. And that means that I didn't want to let this slight upward bump change the direction of the overall trend to start moving upwards. So when there's a jump upward in your weight for some reason, the first thing you want to do is make sure you take care of it right away. Don't let a small bump upwards in your weight get out of control or go too high. That way, a small bump stays just that, a small bump in your overall trend, but the overall trend still stays intact. And taking care of it meant that I would just get back to my normal eating and I would get myself back into those calorie ranges that I needed to be at so that I could lose fat. Now, during the summer, there were multiple events where my weight bumped upwards, but each time I got back on track right away. In the past, I always used to gain weight over the entire summer because whenever one of these little events happened, I would just keep eating a little bit here and there, and then one event would lead into another, which caused me to gain weight over this period of time. But by getting back on track right away, whenever there was a little bit of a bump upwards in my weight, that helped me keep my weight from getting out of control because one event would not lead into the other. Now, getting back on track right away was very important, but here are some additional tips that will help you keep the trend moving in the right direction. First, once I get back to my normal eating and I'm in my normal calorie ranges for fat loss, I might tighten up my calories just a tiny bit for a few days, but nothing extreme. For example, I'm not cutting my calories drastically or starving myself or trying to make up for the fact that I ate a little bit too much for a few days. Just get back to your normal eating, your normal calorie ranges, and tighten it up just a little bit. Also, I use a maximum weight number that if I hit it or go over it, not just for one day, but for multiple days, then it's like a warning sign that I need to address the fact that my weight is increasing, that I might be starting to change the direction of my trend. And this higher max number follows my weight downward. So whenever I lose more weight, I bring that number down. For me, it's usually about 3 to 4 pounds above my low weight at that time because I know my weight could fluctuate about that amount based on water fluctuations. But if I go above that number for a few days in a row, then I know I need to be careful because I might be moving up to a higher level with my weight and changing the direction of my trend. And I also use this higher weight number to help me maintain my weight, not just lose weight. So I will set a number in my mind that once I hit it, then I need to start being careful because I feel that I'm starting to move upwards again. Next, focus on the weekly averages of your weight loss instead of the daily fluctuations. The day to day ups and downs are going to happen all the time. And if you really focus on them, you could really drive yourself crazy. It's so much better to focus on the overall trend for your fat loss. Just look at the weekly averages and see, are they lower from week to week or from a couple of weeks back? Is the overall trend moving in the right direction? Now let's talk about goals, and specifically weight loss goals, where you're telling yourself, I want to lose a certain amount of weight by a certain date. Now, I think goals are great and they're excellent to give you an overall plan of where you're heading. But I've noticed, especially with weight loss, that it's very easy for me to miss a goal even if I've done everything right. Losing weight is not that precise. So I use goals more as a guide and I'm kind of flexible with them. For me, the most important thing is to make sure that I am still moving my overall trend in the right direction and that I'm doing the day to day things that I need to help me get to that next lower level. A lot of times, our goals just don't match life perfectly. So I think it's really important to know that you need to be a little bit flexible with them. And finally, it's important to know that changing the direction of your trend takes time. If you ate a ton of food for a few days, it doesn't mean that you completely blew it and that you changed the direction of your trend. Sure, you might be heavier for a few days, but it's what you do next that makes the big difference. If you continue to eat regularly and keep taking in extra calories, yes, you will change the direction of your trend. But if you get back on track right away, you can keep that trend moving downwards over time. So focus on the overall trend instead of the daily ups and downs. Get back on track when you need to and keep moving forward. That's going to give you long-term results. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what I had to say, click the like button, subscribe, remember to stay active, and I'll see you in the next video.